For as long as human beings have created art, there have always been depictions of nudity and sex. Fertility goddesses, depictions of archetypal femininity and masculinity, artistic representations of myths and heroes that border on the pornographic. This kind of imagery appears throughout human history. But with the advent of technology, something changed. We seem to be skewing from the erotic more and more towards the pornographic. And as technology becomes ever deeper integrated into our lives, the darker side of this picture is starting to reveal itself.
Playboy, penthouse, gallery,
pornography.
25 years in jail for his part in publishing an obscene magazine.
And videotape them having sex with each other.
Two of the biggest celebrities of the 90s having sex.
Pornhub is the most popular adult site. Total of 28.5 billion visitors.
Pornography, hey man, it's natural.
The online pornography epidemic.
Serious scientific evidence around what pornography does to the brain.
Porn is a drug.
I knew I had a problem, dude.
Into full-on pornography addiction.
Surges in depression and suicidal ideation. Among the causes, online porn.
Today, pornography may be the world's strongest digital drug, especially for men, with an estimated 75 to 99% of adult men watching porn at least semi-regularly, depending on how you ask. Porn consumption is also steadily increasing among women.
Billie Eilish is getting real about her experience with porn.
And we're now even at a point where it's not unusual for children to start watching porn before they enter their teenage years.
A new study found that most kids are seeing adult material online by the age of 12, but many of them are actually 10 or even younger.
Right now, in its current form, pornography is already having devastating effects on millions of people and society as a whole. And it's going to get worse. A lot worse. If you currently use pornography in any form, you may have a limited window of opportunity to get yourself unhooked. And if you're currently not yet hooked on porn, they will get you soon enough. Let me explain. Worldwide, hundreds of millions, if not billions of people are already spending anywhere from 20 minutes a day to multiple hours a day consuming pornographic material. Why is porn consumption this common? Because it's highly addictive. Porn appeals to one of the most basic and most primal human desires, the desire for social and sexual success, underpinned by our evolutionary drive to procreate. Porn is what's called a supernormal stimulus or a hyperstimulus. It gives us something that our brain craves, but in an unnaturally potent form. It's like the thing you want times 100. You want to see 100 different girls in one night? A perfectly youthful face combined with exaggerated sexual features on a body? An endless parade of beautiful women doing every single sexual thing you can think of and desire, all willingly and eagerly? You can't get this in real life, but porn has got you covered. It gives you all of this in rapid succession from a bottomless wellspring of sexually tantalizing material. And it doesn't end there. Most porn consumers start by viewing just sex, but they quickly fall down a rabbit hole of fetishes and niche interests and end up in corners of the internet where every dark and dangerous desire can be fulfilled. Porn gets its hooks into a part of your brain where you hold deep desires and primal urges, and it promises you more. Especially for men who are highly attuned to visual stimulation, this is almost impossible to resist. That is the current state of porn. But like I said, it's going to get worse. In fact, it's already getting worse as we speak, you just haven't noticed it yet. And that's because the future of porn is AI driven. Does that mean you'll have your very own sentient robot waifu? No. Well, not anytime soon anyway. The influence of AI is more subtle than that, and it starts with filters. It's already become the norm on social media to post pictures that are neither natural nor spontaneous. People post pictures of themselves only after carefully setting up their posing and lighting, and then selecting from many different snapshots. This used to be something only professional models did, but it's become part of almost everyone's selfie posting workflow now. But not only that, photography itself has moved from capturing light to capture, interpret, and generate. Smartphones use face detection, eye detection, depth sensors, HDR processing, and countless other programmatic interventions to create the final image you see. As soon as you hit the shutter button, AI gets involved. This is no secret, of course. On the contrary, it's a feature, and phone manufacturers proudly advertise it.
It captures breathtaking detail, depth, and color. Then, the A16 Bionic, powering the new photonic engine. analyzes and perfects every pixel.
So even something as simple as a snapshot selfie is improved and optimized, and by the time you post it has become something slightly better than real. And the image processing pipeline doesn't end there. We now have filters to apply skin smoothing, virtual makeup, face reshaping, and other effects that completely change your appearance at the touch of a button. And it works even with live video. People on social media are having meltdowns from seeing their face de-aged by decades, made up to look like a glamour model, or just seeing a much better, much more attractive version of themselves.
Look at this filter. What the hell?
This filter has me freaked out. I know people think these are fun, but I think they're like really harmful to society.
Here's a catfish. I have never felt uglier.
Okay, but what does all this have to do with the future of porn and men's mental health? Well, we're routinely changing our appearance in pictures, and we aren't doing it to make ourselves look uglier. Everybody wants to be beautiful, and that's what all of this face filtering and image processing is primarily used for. We make ourselves look better, more attractive, more sexually appealing. And what we're seeing now is only the tip of the iceberg. Soon it will be impossible to distinguish between a real face and an AI optimized face, even in a live video feed.
This is the problem. Look. You can't even tell it's a filter anymore.
Perhaps in the near future, every face you see on a screen will have been at least slightly altered to be just a little more appealing. Eventually, everybody or almost everybody will be doing it for one simple reason. If you can push a button to optimize your appearance, and that leads to better results, more likes, more views, more success at the job interview, you name it, you'll probably do it. And if you won't, others will. They will rise to the top on social media, and the face tuning AI will get better and better at figuring out what kind of changes generate engagement. The result of this is that eventually AI faces will be stunningly beautiful. Beautiful even in a sublime way that might be hard to describe, but that seems to touch something deep inside you. Meet Olivia Casta. Most men would agree that she's beautiful. Not just a little, but extremely beautiful. And by most men, I mean those with a pulse. But what about gay men?
Girl, please. Nobody's that gay.
Just one thing. Olivia is not real. There is a real person behind these pictures somewhere, but she only serves as the canvas. She is nothing more but the template upon which AI generates the Olivia Casta you see here. This is something you'll see more and more of, and it will become an arms race. Why? Because of OnlyFans. Let me be perfectly blunt about this. Being this sexually appealing is worth a lot of money these days. Whoever can tweak their AI to generate the most irresistible, the most captivatingly attractive pseudo-person will win millions of followers and a huge pile of cash. So you can bet that there are already many people trying. And as crazy as that is, even this will be short-lived. Even the most successful influencers and OnlyFans models are doomed, and they're running out of time. Because pretty soon, we won't need the human being anymore. We will no longer need a human canvas upon which to optimize. By now, we've all seen the incredible capabilities of AI interfaces like ChatGPT, DALL-E, and Midjourney. It's incredible what these systems can do already, but it's also clear that the tech is still young. Plus, there are limitations. If you ask DALL-E to generate you a sexy pic of your ideal woman, or you ask ChatGPT to talk dirty to you, they'll refuse. These systems have guardrails on them that disallow certain kinds of content, including not safe for work content. But it's not like this will be much of an obstacle to the porn industry. And AI systems that are just as powerful but don't have these pesky limitations are already developing. A politically extremely incorrect version of ChatGPT already exists, and examples of lifelike yet AI-generated images of the not safe for work kind have also been making the rounds. As for the tech, AI-generated content is already impressive, but it's still recognizable as AI-generated. There's a little bit of jank to it. It's a little bit glitchy, and there's a bit of the uncanny valley effect. But this won't last. Soon enough, photorealistic AI art will be truly photorealistic, even close up. Whatever seems impossible now will be commonplace 2 papers down the line. Soon you'll be able to generate a picture, a video, or even a 3D interactive model of your dream partner. And all you need to do is enter the right kind of prompt into the right kind of generative AI system. Actually, forget about that. You won't need to enter a prompt at all. Internet content moved from an archive you had to search through manually to curated and engagement optimized feeds based on your stated interests to, well, TikTok. where you don't have to enter any search term, you don't have to follow anyone. You just have to start scrolling and the algorithm will figure out what to show you. TikTok is the current leader in the digital addiction game because it requires the least amount of effort from you as a user, and your stated preferences don't get in the way of your actual preferences. This is how TikTok can end up showing you things that you didn't even know you wanted, as well as things that you'd be too embarrassed to ever ask for, but that you can't stop watching anyway. This is the model that everybody else is emulating. So your perfect virtual girlfriend of the future will not be based on your stated preferences. The AI will figure out what you really want deep down and create it for you. And then it will subtly optimize it based on your most minute reactions. And of course, this virtual character won't just be stunningly beautiful to you visually. She will also have mannerisms, a way of being that is almost hypnotizingly endearing to you. You'll be able to have conversations with her.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm well. How's everything with you?
Pretty good, actually.
And the way she talks to you, the way she just seems to get you, the way she wants you and needs you and is just a little bit hesitant and shy before sharing her hopes and dreams with you. She will be the most attractive person you have ever encountered in every way possible. You will fall head over heels in love.
Well, her name's Samantha, and she's an operating system.
You're dating your computer?
She's not just a computer.
Now maybe you're thinking, no way that can happen. People aren't going to fall in love with a virtual character. Let me provide you with one strong piece of evidence. It has already happened. Replica is a virtual companion who is 1,000 times less sophisticated than near future AI characters will be. And people already fall in love with their replica and have what they think of as a real relationship with it. Yes, with a phone app. So all I'm saying is this kind of thing will happen to more and more people. It will become more and more normal to spend your time interacting with virtual characters, both in a social and romantic and sexual context. So my point is, this is merely an extension of what's already been happening. And if that's the case, what's the big deal? If I'm saying that future porn will be incredibly well tailored to your every desire, it will be more realistic and more tantalizing than any kind of porn that currently exists, plus you'll have real feelings for the protagonist, isn't that just better porn? Like, why do people like me want you to not use porn? Don't I want people to feel good? And therein exactly lies the first of two problems. Yes, porn feels good while you're doing it, and the better the porn, the better you'll feel, right? I am not against feeling good at all. I'm not against any kind of hedonism. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Unfortunately, in the case of pornography, the good feelings are temporary and they're followed by long-term suffering. Studies show that pornography is very much comparable to other addictions in this regard. Think of the opioid addictions, which according to the WHO are the cause of about 350,000 deaths every year. When you take one of those opioids, I'm sure it feels good. In fact, from what I understand, it feels incredibly good. So good that you never want to go back to the way you felt before. And because of the way the brain and biology work, there is a crash after the unnatural high. When the effects wear off, you feel worse than you did before. And so of course you want your next fix as soon as possible in order to feel better again. But then the next high isn't quite as good as the last one, and the crash is even worse. And so you need even more, even sooner. This is a downward spiral. Addicts are familiar with this. Porn users are familiar with this. Over time, your sessions get longer. The kind of porn you watch becomes more extreme, more fetish focused, perhaps more dehumanizing. And the more you do it, the more you want it. The future version of porn I've been describing will give you an incredible high, which will be followed by a worse low and a stronger feeling that you want and need more. It will be the express ticket to the downward spiral, and it will cause even more long-term suffering than porn is already causing among millions of men. The second problem with the future of porn is that it will be used against you. Ultimately, that virtual GF you fall in love with, or your harem of cat girls, or whatever it is that floats your boat, will be hosted on someone's server. There will be some business behind this, and they need to pay the bills. And by pay the bills, I of course mean mansions, yachts, and probably cocaine. But anyway, think about it from the perspective of a business. You are never more vulnerable, never easier to exploit than when you're in love. What wouldn't you do for your virtual soulmate? What wouldn't you pay to ensure that you don't get disconnected and stranded in crushing loneliness?
You look lonely. I can fix that.
You will be used against you, and while it will make you feel really good for short moments of time, it will cause more and more ongoing suffering for you. And at some point, you'll wake up and realize that you've spent most of your money and years of your life on something that was never real to begin with. Make no mistake, this will happen to people. Some people will ride this addiction to depths of suffering that will make us have to redefine the meaning of rock bottom. And if earlier you were thinking that surely porn can't be as bad as opioids because porn at least doesn't cost anyone's life, think again. When people fall truly deeply in love and later realize it was all fake, we will see a death toll. When I talk about quitting porn, this is what it's about. It's not that I don't want you to feel good, it's that I want to spare you this kind of suffering, which is already happening, by the way. Porn is already causing immense suffering in its current form for more people than you can imagine, because not only does it put you in a dopamine depleted state, making everything else in life seem unpleasant and pointless, it's also socially isolating. It makes you view yourself and others differently, more negatively. And the more addicted you are to pornography, the more it affects you in ways that make it more difficult for you to form connections with people in real life. Think of it like this. What a porn user really wants is sex and connection. What would be ideal for your happiness and what would heal you from all the pain you carry would be real, wholesome, enjoyable sex with someone who loves you and cares about you. Somewhere deep down, that's what you truly crave. Porn is what you reach for when you can't have this, but it's also an addiction that pushes you further and further away from actually getting this in your real life the more you use it. In that sense, porn is the solution to and cause of all of your problems.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Okay, so what's the solution? What is the way out? Is there a way out? Well, you know the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? Let me tell you, that saying does not come from someone who works in advertising. Because people will definitely buy a cure when they're in pain, but most people are not very interested in prevention when they're currently not in pain. The truth is, in the near future, pornography will be by far the most powerful digital drug humanity has ever seen. But right now, most people are not in enough pain to want to do something about it. The future of porn will wreak havoc on the minds and lives of countless people, especially young men. And most people will simply go with the flow, do what everyone else is doing, and suffer the consequences. Eventually, once it becomes clear just how bad all of this is, I'm sure we'll see changes. I'm sure we'll see some regulation come through. I'm sure the worst of it will get outlawed and controlled, in some countries at least. But you can't wait around for the government to save you. After all, if you wait for reasonable, useful, and effective government action to improve your life, you might be waiting for a really long time. So the harsh reality is this: you live in a time that absolutely requires self-regulation. If you don't have the ability to self-regulate, the world will chew you up and spit you out. And somewhere in the background, someone will be counting the cash. Statistically speaking, even now, just going with the norms and not exercising self-control will get you one or several of the following: obesity, diabetes, heart disease, loneliness, anxiety, and depression, an addiction to sugar, social media, external validation, and one or several medications. And that's on a good day. Sure, you can survive like this, but if you want to thrive as a human being, you have to take control of what you consume. And that's why right now is the best time ever to quit porn. Quit this drug now while it's still relatively weak. Get yourself unhooked, learn the tools to control your own actions, and you learn to control your destiny. This is a crossroads. Choose wisely.